Esther Park, and I'm the VP of Programs at Untitled Arts. As you can see from my virtual background, this is not Miami. No, it's not. It is the fall colors of Anderson Ranch that both Gonzalo and Shire can discuss in length, but it is located in the mountains of Snowmass, Colorado. And yeah, so we're very excited to launch year 3 of this amazing this home and away exchange. And quickly introduce my 2 co-pilots here. Shire, you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Oh, I might have to take this off. This is. Oh no,
you're like you're blending in. St. Louis and Anderson Ranch.
It's St. Louis and the Ranch. So my name is Shire, aka Vanta Black. I'm a visual artist. I'm a mama, community activist, and I was at the ranch this past year, earlier this year. It was dope. We'll talk about it.
Yep. And Gonzalo, quick intro.
My name is Gonzalo. My name is Gonzalo Fuenmayor. I'm a painter, drawer. I was Shire's neighbor during the residency. And what else? Dad as well. And you know, I'm an artist. I've been drawing and painting primarily for the past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm going to do a quick screen share for us to kind of get through the gamut. You guys all see that? Yes. So home and away. Let me do the full screen. So home and away 2022. So a quick recap. Home and away is our program where we do travel exchanges with other amazing artist residencies throughout the country. We have partnerships with Atlantic Center for the Arts, Art Pace, Rauschenberg, and Anderson Ranch. So right now we're going to talk about the Anderson Ranch opportunity. Part of the home and away is it's 5 weeks. We provide a stipend for our artists. It's $500 per week, so that's $2,500. We cover all travel, as well as, of course, housing and food, which I'm sure Zalo and Shire will talk immensely about the food at Anderson Ranch. Shout out to Chef David. We're gonna make sure he gets that. Yes. So here's a little nitty gritty about the ranch itself. It's 5 weeks. These are the dates. Muy importante, the dates, February 2nd to March 9th of 2022. And the due date for this application is October 18th. So you have 2 full more weeks to kind of get it going. And then, I talked about key dates, which is muy importante. And that is really it for the presentation. So I'll stop share. So quickly, the actual application itself is pretty straightforward. It just talks about your bio, what you would like to, do up there. I mean, you guys felt like it was pretty straightforward, right? Gonzalo and Shire?
Yeah, it was really straightforward, very easy to fill out. Yeah, I like that. I like it when it's easy.
Easy and very quick. It was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's all through Submittable. So you guys can go, of course, on our website and get more info. But so yeah, that's really it. It's really just kind of like the body of your work and obviously your CV, and quickly just mention maybe a couple sentences of what you'd like to achieve. It could be as very specific or very general, but as you know, Anderson Ranch has some amazing facilities. So before we kind of go into like the day-to-day, both of you, were you familiar with the ranch before this opportunity?
I was not. I'm sorry, Zalo. I wasn't familiar with the ranch. I've watched the previous residents closely. I watched their social media to try to get a feel for what it was like there. But that you really can't get a feel for it unless you're there. Um,
Yep.
the facilities, I was most impressed with the facilities. I think I've never seen the equipment that's at that ranch anywhere else. I think
Mm.
the things that are there will really blow your mind as an artist, and you'll try to find ways to use everything at the ranch. Right,
Yeah,
Zalo?
what
Absolutely. No, I was aware of Anderson Ranch. Um, it was on my map, but it was one of those residencies where I had to, I mean, it seemed unapproachable. It seemed like something that I was a little bit overwhelmed by, the aura of Anderson Ranch. So when this opportunity came and Ulites was a partner, it was a blessing, because it made it more approachable.
yeah. And so when you got the call, let's be honest, Shire and Zalo was freaking out for the opportunity, but they were like, I have kids, I have responsibilities. 5
Talk about
weeks.
it.
Let's
Talk
talk
about
about it, because
Listen.
first things first. Was 5 weeks went by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
5 weeks does go by really quickly. I almost didn't apply to this residency because I was thinking about I'm a parent and I have to be away for 5 weeks. I have 2 kids. Me and Zalo's kids are the same
Same
age.
age.
And I was like, what am I gonna do? But this past year was the perfect opportunity because they were doing virtual school. If they had to go to
Oh,
physical school, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I'm a single parent,
right.
and this was just the perfect storm of greatness for me to do this. I was really, really shocked when I got the phone call, and then I started like panicking. I was because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I hadn't asked anybody, hey, can you keep my kids because I'm applying for this residency. I was just like, if I get it, then I'll figure it out. But I'm really glad that I did take advantage of, applying. I'm so glad that I met Zalo. Not only is our practice really similar, but our lifestyle is similar. Being parents
Mm,
and then being full-time artists and still trying to do this shit,
Yeah.
And I'm just really, really thankful I met you. We learned so much from one another.
Oh yeah.
And this shit was dope. And those 5 weeks did fly by. It really did.
yeah. Yeah. What about you, Zalo? I know you were freaking out. You're like,
Well, my wife
oh.
was freaking out. It was a bittersweet. I remember when I told her that I got in, she started crying, and then are those tears of joy? No, they're tears of like, what am I gonna do 5 weeks without, without me? But she was very supportive, and I'm forever grateful for having such a supporting a partner. But it was a great opportunity, as Shire said. I'm so happy. I got to meet such amazing people. Had amazing conversations, and foremost, I was able to work and experiment. And I think that I'm reaping. I'm still thinking. My work is still developing all the ideas that were sort of incubated during Anderson Ranch. So it's an amazing opportunity for any artist.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of it too, Emma was asking Shire, what kind of equipment is available at Anderson Ranch, which both of you guys can talk about.
What's
all
up,
the
Emma? How you doing, boo? So the equipment, let me tell you something. You think that you've seen facilities, like if you've been to, most of us have been to college or grad school, you think you've seen facilities at these institutions. And then you get to Anderson Ranch and you're like, what the fuck? I think me and Zalo, I think we walked through one of the buildings. You took me through the fabrication lab and I was
Yep.
like, what? You can literally fabricate you can fabricate items from plastic. You can use clay. I found out that there was a 3D clay printer. Did you know that, Zalo? I found that
Yeah.
out a couple weeks ago. Like they have 3D printers that basically print every material. Then they have a wood shop that is massive, massive. And there's a photo lab. There's a printmaking. The printmaking lab is a printmaker's dream. There's equipment there that's been removed from certain facilities. Like I hadn't seen some of that equipment since back when I was a kid. And I was really kind of overwhelmed with the amount of equipment available for us to use.
And there was a dog.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. Zalo used everything.
I have no idea what type of equipment. Really, if you ask me, like I wouldn't say, oh, there's a Epson CDC. I have no idea, but I was able to do. I was able to use make. I did casting, so I made 3D printing. Of some sculptures. I used software to make models, like huge sculptures out of foam. Had no idea that, if I could have access to this. So it was overwhelming, but it was at the same time very exciting, because it was I think the attitude was this is a big playground, and I don't know what this does, but I'm gonna try and see if I can incorporate it into my practice, and you'll be surprised at the many possibilities there can happen at this place.
Yeah.
And I saw a post by them a few months ago where they were having Simone Lee come out, and she was being honored there. And so they were talking about how Simone Lee had come out to Anderson Ranch a few times to use their ceramic facilities. So just think about that. If you know of her work as an artist, she went out to Anderson Ranch to use their facility. The ceramic lab, the ceramic wing is incredible.
Yeah.
And also Shire, I think that the fact that you have all these amazing artists that are in charge of these like ceramic labs. There's a ceramicist, amazing ceramicist. There's also someone at the lab for printmaking, for photo. So it's an amazing opportunity, because you have a guide that will guide you through all of these toys, if I may say. And there's always a conversation, like how can I use this? And they're artists as well, so it's a great resource.
Yeah, that's actually asking Emma's question. Are there assistants? Yes, they're fully staffed. They're experts in their field, so you have like these kind of go-to guides whenever you need. So yeah, it's like fully equipped.
They're there to help you.
Yeah, and part of, let's talk about living. So the facilities are amazing. I like to call it like the Disney World for artists, like Gonzalo say it's a playground. But facility wise for living, I know a lot of people say it was like the real world.
It was real world Snowmass Village.
That's real world Snowmass Village.
Yes.
When people stop being polite, stop getting real. No, I'm kidding. It was the real world, but how was the living? I mean, you guys got your own rooms, the food, tell us the good and the bad. Bathrooms, it was cold. Don't forget the cold. It's very cold. So yeah, tell us the day-to-day life. Yeah.
It's cold as fuck, but it's cold as fuck there. And I mean, you're in Colorado and you're in the mountains. You're literally in the mountains. I think what the cold didn't really get to me as much as the altitude. I don't know, man. If you had never been up higher than 1,000 feet, when you get out there, it's gonna kick you in your lungs. That was really difficult to get used to. But by the weekend, then you're good. You just gotta really breathe. But so we all had our own rooms. We had rooms that had a refrigerator in them. They had a bistro table. We had our own bathrooms. We had our own key to our room. We had our own chef. We had a chef that cooked for us every day, and he had a wonderful personality, Chef David. And we had access to like this area where grab and go food was. So we were fed. We were really on our own on the weekend, but our chef would make us enough food so we can make it through the weekend. So we really weren't lacking of food.
Yeah, what else can I add? We had 24/7 access to our studios.
That was really important.
Yes.
That was very important. And for me, going to Snowmass, it was like going to Mars. It was a completely different planet. Everything was white. It snowed a lot. But at the end of the day, I mean, coming from Miami, you get to embrace it. I have to say that I was taking cold showers by the end of the fourth week. I know. I mean, you have all these conversations and happy hours, and then one of our friends, Eddie, was taking cold showers. Say, okay, let me see what that feels like. And yeah, so what else? Food was amazing. It was a great setting. The studio, like, there's a nice walk between our studios and where we live. It was like a nice, maybe 5-minute walk. Shire, we even saw a coyote twice.
Oh yes, Shire, tell us about your coyote.
Listen, that goddamn coyote. Listen. I'm a Black lady. I'm from the Midwest, but in Miami, I live in a neighborhood. We ain't got woods and wildlife and shit. So a lot of nights it would be me and Zalo in the studio late, since our studios are next to each other, and we would be talking and kiki, and we would just be there really late. One night, I decided to leave. It was maybe like 11:30. And Snowmass is 2 hours behind, obviously. So it was like 11:30. I decided to leave. And so I'm walking, and there's this big open area. There's a pathway. It's covered in snow. And I saw something hopping. I was like, what the fuck is that? I stopped, and then I see it. It came up over a hill. I backed up because I'm Black. I backed up. I went back in the studio. I said, Gonzalo, Bellaca. He was like, what? I said, come here. So he comes out. I said, look, is that a fucking wolf? And he was like, no, that's a coyote. I was like, dogs, same family. And Zalo trying to see the coyote, follow it, look at the footprints. I was like, can we go? Walk me to the dorm. So after we investigated, we did walk back to the dorm, and we were laughing. And we ran into another resident who brought her dog. Jamie brought her little dog. And I was like, look, girl, get Crizo out of here, because this coyote, because the ranch is really open. People are used to the wildlife. There are bear signs everywhere, even though the bears are asleep during the winter. But it's open. Like, wildlife just comes through, and I'm not used to that. So we saw the coyotes a couple times.
And also, Shire, sorry, Esther.
No, I was gonna say there's a bunch of questions I wanna get to. So,
okay.
Yeah, is there a store available for materials to be purchased, or do you have to access materials to produce work? Yes.
Who asked that question?
Patricia.
Listen, Patty. Listen, I'm gonna keep it 100. There's a store, but everything in that store, it's a small store. Everything is like double the price. So if you get this residency, let me tell you something. Pack a little bit of clothes, pack you like a week of clothes, but then put a big ass bag of your materials. You can have materials sent to the ranch before you get there.
Amazon.com.
Try not to buy materials there. Real talk. unless you experiment. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
Agree.
Dalo, do you agree? Yeah, you agree. Yeah.
Oh, I actually sent all my stuff beforehand, like
Oh,
all my
okay.
papers and everything. I shipped them, so I didn't have to buy anything. And then if I needed a couple, I don't know, supplies, and I bought them at the store or I ordered them online. But that's what I did, and it saved me a lot of time.
Yes. Lots of Amazon orders. You guys
Yes.
can do Amazon
Yes.
orders as well.
Mhm.
So Veronica, speaking of, Veronica is asking, it's my first time applying for a residence. So my question is, what happens with the art produced? So you guys can explain that.
So
You ship it back.
yes, you got to ship that shit back, girl. Listen, me and Zalo, we work on paper. So we did a lot of rolling the paper up. I ordered paper while I was out there. So the paper came in a big tube. So I used that tube to ship my paper back. And everything that I made was mostly paper. I had some ceramic pieces that I made. You got to pack them up and ship them back. It's good to have a FedEx account because you just pack everything up and leave them in a spot, and then FedEx will come and get it and then bill you later. Right, Zalo?
Yeah, but I also wanted to say that, there's two attitudes, or there's many attitudes when thinking about residencies. And Shire and I think we had, for me, I personally had this guilt that I was going to leave my family for 5 weeks. So I had to make the most out of my time at the residency. So I was working constantly until late at night, watching coyotes, trying everything that I could. I was really working, so I had to ship a lot of work. But at the end of the day, that's one way to look at a residency. There's this other, it's not about producing, it's about thinking, it's about creating. So this can be also an opportunity not to just experiment, just to have 5 weeks to yourself and think, and if you can, make. But basically, it's about playing. And so yeah, you can have a mix of both, but not necessarily have to come back with something.
That dovetails really well into a question from another Gonzalo Hernandez, asking, how do you feel is the best way to go to a residency? It's better to go with a project in mind, or maybe could you tell us if you went with a plan, or being there makes you create new works? So kind of, yeah. I mean, oh, go ahead, Gonzalo.
Well, just jumping into that question, I came in with a plan. Week by week, I wanted to do 30 drawings, 20 ceramics, a sculpture, printmaking. But then once you're there, I stumbled upon being there, which meant altitude, different light situation, different studio, different conversations. So my plan shifted dramatically, just because I had to adapt to what was there, and so there's not a like a right answer per se. It's, you go with a plan, perhaps or perhaps not, and then you just be in the place and see what happens.
In
Shire?
my application, I put that I wanted to explore scale. I didn't have a specific project in mind. And then when I found out I got the residency, they were like, okay, what you gonna do, girl? And I was like, I'm gonna respond in the space. I didn't have a plan. I didn't really know what material. I had a general idea of materials that I wanted to use. So I brought what I already used. I wish I had brought more stuff, because I pushed myself beyond the materials that I usually use while I was there. So you can, like Zalo said, you can have a set plan or you cannot. I think as long as you take advantage of what's there, then you've done yourself justice.
Agua asked, is there metal working equipment? Yes. Did you guys do
believe so.
metal?
I didn't work in metal. I think I don't think anybody worked with metal, but the
Yeah,
opportunity was
yeah.
there. Yeah. The
Oh yeah,
opportunity
Zach
was
does. Yeah, the metal.
Mhm.
How was he? I mean, you guys didn't know each other before the ranch. Did you know
No.
anyone, or how was the dynamic? I mean, everybody came away from that like I was like tears, cries, hugs.
Yeah.
But I did
Mhm.
get the sense by 5 weeks, everyone's like, okay, we gotta go.
Oh yeah, I was sick of their
We
ass
gotta
by
go. We gotta
week
go.
5, except Zalo. I was sick of everybody but Zalo. But when we got there, I was familiar with Zalo's work. I knew Onijide. I was familiar with his work. I had met Almaz the year before, and I was sort of familiar with her work. But we grew very, very close over the
Mm,
residency because we were in a bubble. The ranch was not open to the public, so all we could do was look at each other's face all day. So we had to talk to one another, and we shared experiences. We had conversations that artists don't typically get to have. We talked about things that you don't necessarily get to talk about with other artists, their experiences just in the art world, navigating the art world. So that brought us together. We were able to ask questions of one another because we were all at different levels of our career. The age range, like the youngest person was like in their 20s, and
Yep.
the oldest person was generations beyond that. So there was a wide range of experience in the art world, and we all shared that, which was really, really cool. And everybody's practice was so different. So
Yep.
we shared
mm,
so much about our practice and how we use materials within our practice. So we started to influence one another. Gonzalo really influenced me to really, really think large and really thinking about surface, and
mm.
then talking about how we use this surface. So I really appreciated that relationship.
And something to add, Shire, I think that uh, I mean it's such a eclectic mix that eventually naturally you'll converge with people who have similar conversations, similar interests. And at first, it was everyone got along really well, uh, despite COVID, because it was it was a weird time also to have a residency because everyone was a little bit hesitant of getting together and socializing. And for a residency, that's a huge part of the residency is that
Mm.
interaction. So despite all the difficulties of getting together, I think that we all converge in a very I would say natural way, very organic manner. And at the end of the day, you have great conversations with and you make great friends.
Mm.
And there was also, I'm sorry, Esther,
Oh, go
there
ahead.
was also just, we were all from different backgrounds. We all came from different cultures. I
Mm.
called us the Rainbow Coalition because it was a whole bunch of black and brown people. And to bring all these black and brown people to this ranch that's like uber white, and then having the culture shock of the people that work there, seeing all this culture, and then having that conversation about that, how unique our bubble in Miami is, and then when you take that bubble and put it over out there, what that experience is
Yeah,
like. So we
stands
we
out.
talked a lot about that. So
Yeah, that's very important. It's a culture shock for both sides.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Um, we're running out of time because I promised it'll be only 30 minutes. We could keep going, but I did want to answer Autumn's question because I think it's fun. Are there any field trips outside the ranch? You guys took some fun field trips.
Yes, we did, child. We did. Field trips,
Um,
yes.
lots of field trips.
Yes.
Lots of
Lots.
field trips. We went to Aspen a couple times.
Mhm.
Yes.
Every weekend, some people went to Aspen, went to We went
Hot
to
springs?
Oh, the hot
the hot
child.
springs, which was
springs.
really cool
I ain't
and
go to
different.
that.
Yes.
Shari didn't go. She missed
I
it,
didn't go
but
to the hot springs.
I don't do communal water. I don't do that. But
communal water.
I don't do communal water. But they had a good time. They had a good time.
Oh,
Some people
yes,
went
there's
skiing. Yeah,
Some
some
people
people
went
went
skiing.
skiing.
lots of
I don't do
snowboarding.
that. I don't do
Lots of
skiing.
snowboarding. Yes, skiing,
Snowboarding. People
snowboarding.
did that. There was
Yeah.
there was one of the residents. She was able to do the skiing because it's
Yeah.
not cheap. Listen, Snowmass is like right outside of Aspen. So
Yeah.
think about Aspen and what you know about Aspen. Who goes there and what tax bracket they in. So you know,
Yeah.
not too rich for my blood, but it was great to. We did go to Aspen. We rode the gondolas. It was
Yeah.
phenomenal.
We had great
Um,
lunches. We
we
went
had a
for
great lunch
drinks.
Oh, we went
at
up to
11,000
Aspen
feet.
Mountain.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
We
fun.
did. We did. And I got a real nice headshot out of
Oh,
this resident.
I think you and Manny got really
Yeah.
great headshots out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's timeless. All right, one last question, and I think this is pretty relevant. In the application process as a selector, what are you most interested in seeing? What would make our application stronger for this residency? Full disclosure, I am not a selector. We do get an independent jury of curators and local arts practitioners that jury this open call. But what do you, I mean, both of you got accepted. So what is your kind of hot takes on
I would
best
say
application?
just be authentic, be honest, be I mean,
Yeah.
do what you want to. I mean, don't think of a proposal as expecting, like thinking of there's an expectation of you to do something specifically. Just be authentic, be honest with yourself, and say it clearly. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Shire.
Yeah. Be straight up, be honest. Of the 14 artists that came this past year, you guys should look up what their practices look like. Everybody's practice was different. There were 2 filmmakers, there was a photographer, there was a performance artist, there was someone who works in, gosh, what was that stuff Amanda used? What was it
Oh,
called?
Terrazzo.
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 She was fancy. She used Terrazzo. There was an artist who created a lot of ephemeral work. It was about the process and creating and then wiping away. There was a wide range of practices there. So just tell the truth and best of luck.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you to all our amazing attendees who are feverishly taking notes, I'm sure. Good luck, good luck. Of course, applications due October 18th. Those you say sometime. And thank you to Shire and Zalo. Any last words?
Good luck,
sorry?
y'all.
Good luck.
Good luck, y'all. Listen.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. And if for the people who get selected, we can talk more. There's some more things I need to tell you. But I think we covered it. It is a life-changing experience. If you're doubting whether or not you should apply, just apply. Just do it.
Absolutely. Just do it. Just go for it. And I believe that 5 weeks, where you're concentrated, where you're focused on your work, with you're among such interesting group of people, will be decisive for your career, for your practice, and you would leap 5 years or more just by having 5 weeks to yourself, and having been part of ULA, it's backing this whole thing and giving you money, giving you a stipend, housing you. That's such a privilege and such
And studio
an amazing
visits.
studio
Oh,
visits.
yeah, studio
Dope
visits.
ass studio visits. We have phenomenal studio visits.
Yep.
You know, people who really gave insight on, you know, from what they saw And it was really, really good advice that we got from all
Mm.
the people that came to visit. It's a
So
wonderful experience.
definitely apply, and it's a privilege to
And don't forget, most importantly, you got new best friends,
Yes,
new besties,
yes, it's my homie.
which is
Banta
see,
Black.